2024 Continuing Education Series.
Somebody give me a thumbs up that they can hear it.
Good to go.
Referee in your association still make mistakes. When you walk onto the field for today's game, you need to be prepared and ready. Your appearance, your body language, your interactions with the coaches and the crew prior to the start of the game will set the tone. Today's game is unique. It's an experience. No one cares how good you were last night, last week, or last year in the championship game. You're only as good as your next call, and you need to be prepared to make it. You and your crew are having a fantastic game until someone makes a mistake. A referee makes about 1,000 decisions or choices in a typical game, about one every 5 seconds. This doesn't leave much time for reflection after the fact. Many of the decisions and choices are routine, about position or movement, and the effects the referee ability has to be in position to see what the players are doing. Others are about the interaction between players, coaches that the referee sees and hears, and the applicable provisions of the rules of the game that you are given authorized from the NFHS. Referees make mistakes. Any referee who denies this is lying, both to you and to themselves. Recognizing when a player fakes being fouled, feigns or exaggerates an injury, and recognizing when a player does something to gain an advantage or is disadvantaged by the defense. These are the difficult judgments we must make and administer. Despite all the training the ref undergoes, despite thousands of games experience that a referee amasses, we are going to miss calls. How do you recover from a missed call, a mistake, a misapplication of a rule? Play goes on, but the referee must concentrate on the next call, manage the coaches, work with the players, keep the game moving forward. To do otherwise is to disserve the players in the game. Don't dwell on the missed call or the mistake. Don't talk about it too much then and there. Save that discussion for after the game. Clear your head and make the next call. Step 1, try to resolve the situation immediately. Step 2, talk with the effective coach. Listen to his concerns. Acknowledge his concerns. Be receptive, not combative. Try to avoid any. Let's look at it.
Sorry, guys, something skipped there. I don't know if I can replay that. Talk to the effective coach, listen to his concerns, acknowledge his concerns, be receptive, not combative, try to avoid escalation, be more tolerant, try to prevent additional penalty to the team or coach unless absolutely unpreventable. Get the game restarted. Implore heightened awareness to manage a similar situation, avoid another occurrence against the same team, or if a similar violation occurs for the other team, to 100% make sure you match the call.
Let's look at a few situations and how to recover from making a mistake. One of the most difficult areas to referee is the substitution box and the wing areas. This area is known as the Bermuda Triangle. Be very careful when entering the Bermuda Triangle. This area can be very troublesome and hard to escape. While we'd like to referee quickly, we cannot be in a hurry, especially in the Bermuda Triangle, because if you are in a hurry, you are bound to get in trouble. The Bermuda Triangle has players entering and exiting the field through the substitution box. It has the coaches nearby, and play is heightened and elevated in this area. Slow down, proceed with caution, and check and recheck before restarting. No need to be in a hurry in this area. If you do, you will make a mistake. Let's say, for an example, a ball goes out of bounds in the substitution area, and the player and coach are strongly requesting a quick restart. Do not permit a quick restart unless all criteria are met. The ball carrier shall be within 5 yards of the sideline, into the field of play, relatively the same spot where the ball went out of bounds. Do not allow this offense. Looking at similar examples of mistakes on restarts that you may correct to avoid any conflict within your game management. If, for an example, a referee makes a call and points to the wrong end or the wrong direction, a quick restart is no longer allowed. Admit the mistake of pointing in the wrong direction and tell both coaches who's entitled to the ball and when the restart will occur. Allow both teams to substitute accordingly. This is fair and balanced for both teams. There is no advantage or disadvantage to correct an official's mistake. Another example of an official's mistake to recover from is if the play was restarted with 2 balls on the field in possession of the offensive team. If this does occur, stop play, remove the ball furthest away from the dead ball spot, and restart again. Allow extra time for game personnel and administration. If your crew restarts a game after a penalty and the defense has too many players on the field, this is an official error or mistake, and allow the team to substitute that player off, and they shall not be penalized because your crew failed to count the proper guys. Allow the defense to take that player off the field and restart the play with the initial penalty time. No additional penalty shall occur. Rule 7, Section 13, Article 1 through 4, covers misapplication of a rule, mistakes by an official, inadvertent whistles, and an inadvertent flag. Please familiarize yourself with this rule and the application of the rule. When a head coach believes an official has misapplied a rule, the head coach may approach the scores table to request a coach official timeout for the purpose of discussing a possible misapplication of a rule. This request shall be made prior to the next live ball. The timekeeper shall sound the double horn at the request of the head coach, and the discussion shall take place in the table area in the presence of both coaches. If the official has misapplied a rule, necessary adjustments will be made and an explanation given to both head coaches. No timeout will be charged and play will immediately be resumed. If there was no error in the application of the rule, the timeout will be charged to the requesting team. If there is time remaining for the charged timeout, the head coach may utilize the amount of time remaining. The head coach may not debate a judgment call. The coach official timeout is limited to the discussion of the possibility of the misapplication of a rule. Decisions based on the judgment of the officials are final and not subject to review. The use of video monitoring replay equipment for personal wireless communication devices by the officials in making any decision relating to the game is
prohibited.
When a timekeeper, scorer, or official makes a mistake that would result in a team or player being disadvantaged, and an official becomes aware that a mistake is being made, the official shall promptly correct the mistake. If a goal is scored during the ensuing play, and the mistake is brought to the attention of the referee before the next live ball, the referee must allow or disallow the goal depending on the circumstances in such situations. If all officials are fully aware of the ruling and have sufficient time to call at attention to the mistake, the correction must be made prior to the next live ball. If the officials do not have sufficient time to call attention to the mistake prior to the play restarting, the correction must be made before the second live ball. Once a face-up occurs, no prior goal may be disallowed. In the event of an inadvertent flag, play shall be suspended at the earliest opportunity that does not interfere with an imminent scoring opportunity. The team with possession or entitled to possession when the flag was thrown shall retain possession. If the ball was loose outside the crease, possession shall be awarded by alternate possession. If the ball was loose inside the crease, award to the defensive team. In the event of an inadvertent whistle, play shall be suspended immediately. The team with possession or entitled to possession when the whistle was blown shall retain possession. If the ball was loose outside the crease, possession shall be awarded by alternate possession. If the ball was loose inside the crease, award to the defensive team. Reflection and reconsideration for most referees will begin when the final whistle ends the game. The referee and crew immediately and together walk off the field without discussion or gestures, no banter to players, coaches, or spectators. They begin to prepare for the postgame and for the reporting of the game and results if necessary. The conversation focuses first on the calls from the game. Next comes the other events of the games and additional remarks by the referee and perhaps the other officials. Were there any unsportsmanlike conducts that need to be reported? Ejections, disqualifications, problems with the field, the spectators, or the facilities. But most importantly, this is where the referee and crew must put this game behind them and prepare for the next assignment, because you learn and grow from every single game you work. You will learn something new in every assignment. As you know, officials are forbidden to comment publicly about the game on social media, as this is a no-win proposition. This is how you survive and advance to your next game and get more assignments.
And that ends the slideshow. Bear with me one moment while I close off a couple of things here. Okay. So for those of you that are watching this by video, there were 3 photos of one of our friends on the presentation. The question is, who is it? So that'll be the email that you have to send to info@SFLOA. Who was it and how many photos? We're going to open the floor up to questions. Paul and I are going to handle the questions. If you have a question, you can send it by chat or you can just call it out. So who's going to go first with questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Mark.
Just going on with, this is Mark Andrisi. I just, as he was just saying about the ball loose in the crease, that's never going to be an alternate possession in every circumstance. You just described 2 circumstances where the ball is loose in the crease and it becomes awarded to the defense. Is there any situation where that becomes anything other than awarded to the defense? I'm sorry that I know that's a little side note and not really about game management, but
it's okay.
Curious about that.
Paul?
So what's your question? Is it any other time not awarded to the defense situation? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. I'm asking is it true that every single time the ball is loose in the crease with an inadvertent whistle, it always is awarded to the defense.
That's probably not true. I'm sure there's a situation where the ball's loose. I mean, if there's a flag down, the ball's loose, it's going to go
Right.
The offense.
I can give you one as well, especially with the new rules that we're going to go over at the annual meeting, with respects to the goalie having possession of the ball and losing the ball in the crease. You've got your 4-second count going. If the ball is loose in the crease and you've continued your 4-second count and it expires, the ball's going to go to the other team. It's going to go to the offense.
Right. And the other one would be the new rule with the ball going into the goal. The goalie has the ball, it falls into the goal. Now that's not a goal for 2024 rules. We'll go over that at the general meeting, but in previous years, NCAA, the goalie brings the ball back into crosses the goal line and goes and drops into the goal. That normally would be a goal, but they're in Federation this year. No goal, and you're going to award the ball back to the offense. So that would be a loose ball that's going to go, into the offensive hands. So I would never say never, but there's some situations probably that are unique. Jimmy brought up the one where we call it the mom goal. They shoot and everyone thinks they score, but the ball went behind the goal, behind the net. And, now we're coming in, no goal. A lot of times we want to do a quick restart there, but take your time, say no goal, defense ball off a goalie ball, and give everyone a chance to know that there's not going to be a face-off. Get your personnel on. It's we're gonna restart this. So that was a good example of take your time on a inadvertent whistle.
So we have a question from Bob Clem. Can anyone share one of their biggest mistakes and what they learned from it? I'll actually go first because it was caught on video and posted by the head coach to Instagram. And of course, he had to share it with me. I'm working a game at St. Andrews with Paul. I don't remember who our third was on that game. Might have been Kevin. I'm pretty sure it was Kevin Postian. And I'm single. Turnover in the Ponte Vedra defensive half of the field. And I start running upfield, but I'm not looking back over my shoulder. And sure enough, behind me was a push from behind. I had my back to it. I didn't see it. And it didn't bite me in the butt, thankfully, but it easily could have. And I would have had to have owned up to that. But, when mistakes happen, the coach said something to me. Coach, I'm sorry, I just didn't see it. And we moved on. And as Jimmy said on the video, own up to it, move on, and get ready for the next one. Paul, you want to share a good one? Or Joe, Jazz, you want to share a good one?
Here? Oh, okay.
I mean, over 30 years, I have plenty, trust me. But just own up to it and move on. Coach, you were right. That's what they want to hear. That's what they want to hear. Coach, you were right, or I made a mistake. There's really not much they can say. The call's the call, and now we're moving on. So they really can't dwell on it. But they can dwell on it if you don't really own up to it. So just words of wisdom.
Who else has a question?
Hey, Jim, it's Marshall. I'll make a comment if you'll let me.
Absolutely.
Obviously, I have no clue about how to officiate lacrosse yet, but I'm learning. But I have a lot of officiating background, and given what you described, I think the bigger thing, and Paul may have hinted to it, is when you make a mistake and you've made a mistake and you've affected the game in a certain way, and if you officiate any sport, it's going to happen at some point in time. And inadvertent whistle is one example, but knowing how to get through that is really, really hard. And sometimes your veteran officials will help you with that, even right there on the field. And, we try to have the 5-second rule. You have 5 seconds to think about it, get over it, and move on. It's not that easy, but hopefully you won't mess up anything after that. But I think that's the hardest part about being an official, is knowing when you've made a mistake and you've affected the game, it's really difficult to move on sometimes.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Thanks, Marshall. Other questions? Who's got questions, comments? I'm going to post this video up for everybody. I'm also going to post the PowerPoint presentation. So if you'd like to watch it again from scratch, you certainly can. Couple of housekeeping items for those of you that didn't hear me when we first started. Next week's session is going to be pushed. We'll do it at the annual meeting. The FHSAA has put up the state exam. Everything is done being through US Lacrosse. We will be holding a Zoom session to go over the test sometime the end of January or beginning of February. We've scheduled it. It's on the website. I don't remember the exact date at the moment. The FHSAA high school test is identical to the US Lacrosse NFHS test. Word for word, line by line, same test. My recommendation, go into US Lacrosse, go into the the NFHS test, take it as practice. On the US Lacrosse side of things, you can take the test, you can answer each question up to 3 times, and you need a 90 to pass. You can also take it as many times as necessary. With FHSAA, you only get 1 shot at each question, and you only get 1 chance to get an 80 or better. You need a 75 to keep officiating. You need an 80 or better to be able to do any of the playoff games. The other things that you have to do, for those of you that are new, I strongly recommend you do all of the videos in the apprentice course. It is a couple hours of videos to watch. You can start and stop them. It'll pick up where you left off. It is really good material, and you have to go step by step to get to the test. For those of you that are experienced, you can do the advanced course. There are 5 different videos. If you have already done some of them, you should get credit for them from previously doing them, like the 2024 professional development course. If you've done it, you should get credit for it. If you don't, please let me know, and I'll reach out to US Lacrosse. The 5 pieces in the advanced course start out with simultaneous fouls. Then it goes into crease play, flexible mechanics, professional development, and then the test. Again, the test is 50 questions. To be able to be eligible to continue officiating, you need a 75 or better and 80 or better for the playoffs. Our annual meeting is on Saturday, February 27th. It will be at St. John Paul High School on Military Trail in Boca. Details on that will be coming out shortly. Our annual field training is February 3rd. There is a sign-up form on our website. Please go to that. I'll be sending out a reminder and a link to it as well. We have invited the referees from our neighboring associations to join us. We've got some officials from Treasure Coast that will come down and join us. We've got officials from Gulf Coast that will come over and join us. And hopefully we'll see between 75 and 85 officials on the field, along with 3 of the very best out there that are coming down to join us, along with our own Skip Spensieri and Mark Rodwell. So we've got a lot of firepower on the sidelines to assist all of us in getting to be better officials. Anybody have any questions, anything they want to add?
Hey, Jim, it's Lance. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Lance.
Hey, you said that, and maybe you just inadvertently said it, on the FHSA test, you can take the test, save it, go back. You can go back and change your answer.
No. Once you select your answer, you are committed to it.
No, That's not how it works. Basketball, football, changed it many times.
I'm sorry, say it again.
So in basketball and football, when I'm taking the FHSA test, you can change the answer.
Yeah, this time around, because they're doing it through US Lacrosse, you get 1 shot at the answer. You get it wrong, you got it wrong. It puts a big red X there. I know, I got 1 wrong. Actually, I think I got 2 wrong. And You cannot go back and edit or change it, unfortunately.
Really?
Yep. Yep. Things are being done. That's why I'm giving you, I'm strongly recommend go out to US Lacrosse, do the test as a practice. It's good information. It actually gives you the answers, whether you're right or wrong. It will tell you what rule is associated with the question. So you can look it up in the book. And most of the questions are based off of articles within the book. Anybody else have any questions? If not, I will bid you a fine good evening.